everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video all about all the books I read in 2023. I am so excited. I have all the books here and some of the books I read on my Kindle, so there'll be a mix of physical books and ebooks. I have my iPad here to help me figure out what book I read, the rating, and when I read it. In 2023, I read 13 books and my goal was actually 10, so I'm very happy I surpassed my goal. I read about 6,000 pages and the average book length was about 461 pages. And then the average rating I gave on books was 4.7, so about a 5-star, which makes sense because I usually only read books that I know I'm gonna love and that are about a 5-star, so that makes sense. We can start with the first book I read, or I guess the series of books I read. I read the second book of the Vampire Academy, which is Frostbite, and I actually gave Frostbite a 5-star review. I love that book. I love Vampire Academy. If you wanted to see the entire review of the series, you can go check out the previous video I did. In the second book, I actually got an ARC, an advanced reader's copy, which is The Blonde Identity. I actually have the physical book now because it came out in September of 2023, but this is The Blonde Identity. I loved this book. I actually rated this book a 5-star as well. This is from my favorite author, Ali Carter. I actually went to their book signing as well, and this is a signed copy. I'm very happy. Definitely still recommend this book. Really loved it. I love spy action, enemies to lovers, so this was a really good one. And actually, I think this was the shortest book I read. Yeah, it's about 304 pages, so it's very thin, easy read. It took me less than a day to read. In February, I also read my first fantasy book, or romance fantasy book, which is Lightlark. I loved this book. This is a 5-star. And honestly, I would probably say that Lightlark and Nightbane, the Lightlark series, is my favorite series I read for 2023. I loved them. I also rated this 5 stars. And this is the first of the Lightlark series. I definitely recommend. It's an easy fantasy read to get into. And yeah, really love this one. And then I read the third book of Vampire Academy, which is Shadow Kiss, in March. I actually rated that one a 4-star. It was a lot of backstories, a lot of society building, so it wasn't my favorite, but I definitely did still love it. And then this is when I started to get into my Sarah J. Maas whole entire realm, and I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I actually got the hardcover for Christmas, which I'll be doing in my book haul later on, but I definitely loved A Court of Thorns and Roses. Everyone said it was slow. I did not think it was slow. I thought it went by fairly quickly, and now I'm continuing reading ACOTAR. I definitely love it, so if you haven't started it, then I would recommend. I also gave ACOTAR a 5-star. Then I read my first 3-star, which is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I actually loved the whole sci-fi fantasy action retell story of Romeo and Juliet. Loved it, but it was fairly slow. I think I didn't really get into it until the last 3 chapters. I did not enjoy it, but I know a lot of people did enjoy it. So if you think you like it, then you should give it a try. I did, however, give it a 3-star. It captured me in the end, but it didn't hold me in the entire book. It actually took me a while to read. Then I took a fairly long break. In October, I finally read Blood Promise, which is the 5th book, I think, of the Vampire Academy. That one I rated a 5-star. In November, I read the most books. I actually read 4 books. Starting off the month, I actually read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes in preparation for watching the film. I actually really loved this book. I know some people did not like it because it's not a good standalone, but me personally, I believe that the people who will read this are Hunger Games fanatics, and if not, then you won't be into it. But I actually rated this one a 5-star. Loved it. The movie wasn't my favorite. Definitely think the book had more to offer. I also did a reading vlog, so if you want to check it out, you can. Loved this book dearly. Loved Lucy Gray. Rooted for Coriolanus. Really good book. Definitely recommend it if you love Hunger Games. Then the second book of the Lightlark series came out. This is Nightbane, and I definitely loved Nightbane. Read it in 2 days. Honestly, probably would have read it faster if I didn't care to sleep. I loved it so much. I loved the whole cover of it, the blue. This one we got more of the backstory of Grimm and Isla. Definitely recommend Lightlark series. I rated this one, of course, a 5-star. Then the final 2 books I read in November was actually both Vampire Academies. They were the 5th and 6th one, which is Spirit Bound and Last Sacrifice. I read them back to back because, quite frankly, I wanted to finish off the series. I dedicated a year for the series, so I wanted to finish it off, and so that is what I finished off with November. Then we are at the end of December, which I started off the month with Song of Achilles. I actually don't have a physical copy because I read my little sister's. I loved Song of Achilles. I heard that it is amazing. It's a great book. I definitely agree. It is so loving, cherished. I think that I sobbed so much I couldn't catch my breath. I definitely recommend Song of Achilles to everyone, and I actually heard that if you like Song of Achilles, you would like Circe, which is not necessarily the second book, but it is very similar. It is within the realm of Achilles and the Trojan War, and so I might read Circe for next year. I haven't decided yet if I want to, switch it up with some mythology next year, but I definitely gave this book a 5-star. If I could, I probably would have given it more. I loved it. I would not say it was my favorite book of the year, but if it was any other year, I would say it would be my favorite book. I loved Song of Achilles. Really good. Definitely want to get a special edition copy of it in my library, so I really enjoyed it. And the last book I finished off of 2023 was, of course, the second book of ACOTAR, A Court of Mist and Fury. I love this book. I think I read this book in like a week. Fairly big. This was the biggest book I read this year. Sarah J. Maas actually killed it with this book. It is amazing. This is the first hardcover that I got. After reading ACOTAR and A Court of Mist and Fury, I definitely decided I want to keep this in my library, so I'm only buying hardcover, only reading hardcover. I love this book. I cannot get enough. I think that it was the easiest, most enticing read of this year. I don't know if I would say it was my favorite book of this year, but it definitely takes one of the top spots. Also, look how pretty this hardcover is. Like, that is so beautiful. I love the color of it. I actually started reading the third book already, so I am very excited to get back into the world and keep going. I definitely want to finish ACOTAR next year or 2024, but if you have not started ACOTAR, then again, you should. And I definitely think that if ACOTAR is this good, I can't imagine what Throne of Glass is like, and Crescent City. So very excited, very happy. I rated this one, of course, a 5-star. Beautiful, loved it. And I know that this is actually people's favorite book of the series, so loved it. As for my favorite book of the entire year, I think it would have to be Light Lark was my favorite book of the entire year. I loved how complex, easy read. It was very thought out plot line, I believe, and it connects well with the second book of Nightbane. And then I would also say that Nightbane, Light Lark, the Light Lark series would be my favorite series of the year. Close second would be ACOTAR. Love ACOTAR, but my favorite book definitely had to be Light Lark. Till this day, I'm still thinking about the plot line, how it ended up, how everything concluded, and then Nightbane along with it just adds more to the original book. And I definitely would say that these two books were amazing and my favorite of 2023. I highly recommend this. If you want to get into fantasy, this is a great book to get into fantasy with, or series. And even just sitting them together, look how beautiful they look together. Kind of love them and want to display them. And as this is my first 2024 video of the year, I just wanted to thank you all for continuing to watch and support. I did post reviews of all of these books except for Vampire Academy and ACOTAR on my Instagram and TikTok. So if you wanted to go see reviews of like Light Lark or The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, then you can go head over there and check it out and see what I thought of each book and really get into detail to see if you will also enjoy it. But yeah, that's basically all the books I read this year. So if you have any recommendations for my 2024 TBR, then let me know. I do have some on my TBR already. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.